But speaking of depressing, look at every area at the moment in our nation and the government are just failing miserably, whether it's immigration, housing, detainees, energy, the cost of living. They just are getting everything wrong. So why, when you've got a government that can't manage anything, would you trust them to decide what you can and can't say on social media or read on social media? Even if you thought they should have that sort of power, would you trust this government to get anything right? The Communications Minister, Michelle Rowland, went on radio with Ben Fordham to talk about the Misinformation Bill, which they're hoping to get through Parliament in the next week. And Ben Fordham quickly found out that the Communications Minister is completely at odds with her own e-safety commissioner about exactly what this miscommunication bill will look like and the consequences it will have for Australians. Have a listen at how mixed up she is.
We'd like to discuss the misinformation laws. I know that Australians, including myself, are concerned about the misinformation bill that Labor has introduced to Parliament. Is the point of this bill to minimise the amount of content that Australians can see online?
Not at all, Ben.
OK, some are saying that this acts as a recalibration for a whole range of human rights playing out online, including freedom of speech. Do you agree?
I don't.
Minister, you've got a bit of an issue because I've just put two statements to you that you have disagreed with. Both statements come from your e-safety commissioner, Julie Inman-Grant.
Seriously, this government cannot get anything right. If they're serious about this piece of legislation and they know how contentious it is, you would think they would have this absolutely nailed down. They are making it up as they go. And of all the things to make up as you go, censoring citizens, and they can't even get that right. I'm talking as if it were a legitimate thing. We obviously know it's not. My point is, you just can't trust this government with anything at all. Why would you trust them with speech?
Well, I don't think anybody does. I've yet to speak to any Australian who isn't in the bureaucracy who is a fan of this bill whatsoever. No one wants to be censored, whether they're on the right or the left. Even the left isn't championing this. The Albanese government is, the online e-safety commissioner is, but other than the people who want to get the bill up, nobody is a fan of this. And the fact that they still have no idea what they're doing when there's only 2 sitting weeks left. So you don't know what you're doing, but you're just going to ram this through both houses. We know it's currently with the Senate. And remember, this is playing out in tandem with this other bill that's concerned with censoring anyone under 16 years of age. They just won't be allowed to use these social media platforms. Now, we have been told ad nauseum, this is about keeping the youth safe. I maintain, you've known that social media and youth are a bad mix for as long as the two have both existed at the same time. There's mountains of research on it, but they got really concerned all of a sudden just 2 weeks after they passed their digital ID bill. Now, we already know, due to the brilliant work of David Shoebridge, yes, I just called a Green's work brilliant. Even a broken clock is right twice a day? Yes, yep. Twice a day. Well, he took them to task on this. We got their own admission that, yes, this would mean absolutely checking everyone's ID online. The only way to do that is, of course, with the digital ID. Well, Ben Fordham asked Communications Minister Michelle Rowland about this bill. And if you're making sure that these people under 16 years of age can't use Instagram, can't use Facebook and the like, why aren't you censoring them on Snapchat as well, which is one of the most popular platforms in that age bracket?
You say messaging and gaming services will not be in scope of this definition. So where does Snapchat fall?
Well, Snapchat under the Online Safety Act, depending on how it's defined, could fall within that definition. But we will go through in a methodical way through having these criteria and the e-safety commissioner applying what will be a very transparent process. If
you're banning Instagram, Facebook and TikTok and Twitter, you've got to ban Snapchat, right?
Well, that is an argument that has been put. We are very prepared to go through having a process of criteria and seeing how this fits against it. Also, as your listeners, I think, will understand, some of these platforms do present themselves in different ways. They will argue, for example, that they are messaging services and not social media services. But we need to assess that objectively against a transparent set of criteria.
So the bill is before Parliament now, and you're still saying, oh, we need to assess that. Are you unaware you've only got 2 sitting weeks left in the year? That interview by Fordham was just brilliant from start to finish. He ran rings around that woman, simply proving this government has no idea what they're doing. And we're talking about the most dystopian bills, I think, that have ever entered the Australian Parliament.